It's New Year's Day. Yesterday we saw a Twitter post which we're trying to confirm right now. And it's a post originally done on Reddit by FBI Anon talking about 7 shipping containers being tracked through Canada. According to the post, these containers are en route to the United States and the SEALs and CERT are tracking them. These containers are said to have weapons on board of massive power, and apparently ISIS is behind this shipment. We think that this report has been scrubbed by Reddit to deter people from finding out about this. This is what Dan Bongino was talking about earlier today when he was on Fox News, and he was talking about having trouble confirming information. He was actually talking about Iran, but in the situation we're in, it's the same exact thing. We're being blocked once we find out something because the information is either really explosive and could get people killed, or it's going to thwart the efforts of the deep state, who's colluding with mainstream media, Google, and social media. I'm not going to tell you where these are supposed to be headed for until we get this information confirmed. But I want to say that the event yesterday in Denver was about distracting us from something bigger, and this appears to be it. And also yesterday we had a post by Julian Assange, which you can see here. It is cryptic and had a key attached to a video. The video itself seemed to be making fun of the cabal if you look at the lyrics, and you can do that on your own when you find the video. That being said, we figured out Assange is in the United States under the protection of the Trump administration and is working with President Trump to bring down the deep state. We believe he has been given immunity and asylum and is cooperating fully to bring forth information that can literally save our country and the world from the New World Order for a while. Hours after we were discussing this, an Anon post said exactly the same thing. Assange was a major influencer in getting President Trump elected by revealing many truths about crooked Hillary and her campaign, and also Trader 44, which we already knew, but we're having trouble confirming, and everybody was telling us we weren't telling the truth, but we actually were. Assange just confirmed what we already know. This same drop coincides with a number of posts on Twitter by QAnon, another person who goes by B. Whether Anon and QAnon are the same, we can't confirm, but the intel seems to be good, as we can see that mainstream media is reporting the protests in Iran, while this post says it's no longer under the control of George Soros. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Soros, he's a Jew who turned on his own people and was the facilitator of many Jews being killed by the Nazis. He fled after the war to the U.S., and why he's not been prosecuted for any war crimes, I really don't know, but it appears his connections are about the same reason Crooked Hillary and Trader 44 are still on the loose. Now, these little hints were dropped on Twitter yesterday, and I'll just go through them really quick, and you can compare them to the Anon post and the events we're watching unfold. So let's take a look at these. The first one was this one. New Year's Eve hint 1. At least 30 congressmen will not be returning after their holiday break. I just want to go through these real fast. The second one. Julian Assange is safe. He's not where he appears to be. He is a key player in justice. Now, I find that very interesting, since Jeff Sessions seems to be really wanting to prosecute Julian Assange. Now, let's look at number 3. Iran is no longer in George Soros' control. Iran is one of 8 countries that will see a regime change in the near future. Very interesting there. We're seeing one happen right now in Iran. Now on 4, major, very recognizable globalist family squealing like pigs. We were thinking it was actually the Bushes, but apparently it's the Rothschilds, according to the post. And then look at number 5. It is some kind of a control room somewhere. And then number 6, the target picked up when Atlanta went dark is so much bigger than anyone can imagine. So I don't know who could be bigger than Hillary Clinton, but if it's someone bigger than we can imagine, it could be just about anybody. So let's take a look at these flights. that are happening right now. As I'm posting this, there are several flights with the transponders off. No call signs, nothing. Leaving Florida, we believe headed for Gitmo. Again, and I'll wait to tell you who I think it is, but suffice it to say, we think it's the facilitator. I'm posting a link to the flight tracker below so you can keep an eye on it yourself. Now, these flights are flying at 40,000 feet, which is very unusual for any planes, in particular private jets. You can see in this picture the line which shows where the transponder is turned off. Right now, there are 3 planes in the air that we can see and are not showing these call signs. They're flying really high, especially when you think about the sort of distance of travel between Florida and Gitmo. Usually, they don't fly like this when it's such a short distance. Look at these. Here's the screenshots from the phone browser. What's odd about all this is the desktop drops the planes completely when the phone browser is showing them. It shows no call signs, but it's at least showing the plane, but not on the desktop. This is total manipulation, folks. All right, now if you're paying any attention, you can also see in these hints given by QAnon that there are between 30 and 50 congressmen, like I said, who won't be returning after this little break. I just said that when we were looking at those tweets that happened yesterday. I've had this confirmed on multiple levels from various sources who are well connected in the government, and I have a tendency to believe these sealed indictments are pushing these guys out of office. I hope this is the case. Not only has President Trump continued to drain the swamp, his close circle is efficiently and swiftly changing the destruction Trader 44 tried to cause and almost got away with. Without Assange and people like him letting us see the truth about these people who are supposed to have our best interest in mind, it's possible the deep state would have gotten away with all these plans. Keep vigilant, people. Keep reporting and keep sending us the information. We try to verify all reports. We use sources we believe are the best we can get to ensure that you're getting the best information that you can to keep yourself and your family safe. As I said last time, President Trump is working diligently on our safety and bringing down this deep state. He considers this a high alert situation and knows they are behind this plan to bring down the United States and state a one world government. Thanks, everyone.
So there are so many people in this takedown now that are being taken down as we speak. I've seen it, and I can tell you that they're doing such a great job getting everybody. And I can see things being restored as I blink because they have done such an amazing job. And the reason that that one happened in Virginia is no accident, that somebody caught it and they put it in an article. So they're trying to state without stating what it is and who it is that they're doing it, and it's that important. But for the rest of them, they're doing in secret, everybody. My other story stands that we are not going to have announcement after announcement. We are going to see the public republic being restored, and it is. Every day is better than the day before. These people have been working non-stop, and they are going to be some of the most unthanked heroes of our planet because they're doing this, and they can never ever reveal all their details. They have to do it that way to save us, but they are heroes, and we need to value their work and appreciate them because they are the only ones that were strong enough to save us from the destruction. And they will never likely be named, ever. They have this impossible task. They have to work in secret, private, and quiet, and do it in whatever time that they know they can accomplish this. And I'm sure they have to strategically plan each one of these takedowns separately and secretly without even the hint of having somebody be able to escape or have it leaked, and then have double work and not even get the result. This is an impossible, impossible job, and they are doing a masterful job, and they are heroes. And whoever it is, and however many there are, they are to be thanked and praised. And it is the wonder of our president that he ever compiled a team that could carry this off and keep the biggest predator in the planet out of the way, which would be fake news from every level. And these people have to be the most trusted confidants of the United States, the government, and our president that we have ever seen. And we have understood that without Democratic and congressional and Senate support, he has had to run this country for a year alone. But newsflash, he is not alone. He is beloved. He has more support and more power at his rallies and from people like us, and that would be we the breadcrumbs, we the channels, we the tweeters, we the YouTubers, we the emailers, and we the Facebook people that have put out what a wonderful person he is. And with this power that he has instilled in his wish to save our country, honor our veterans, and save our military, reconstruct the damaged FBI and bring it back to a clean leadership and take out the people that have destroyed it. So whoever he compiled in this massive takedown are another slew of people he has been able to trust, because they have carried it out so far and will continue to carry it out without incident. And President Trump is resting in Florida for New Year's and smiling, saying, I did so much this year, and he knows it. And when he's a confident man the way that he is, his own knowledge is enough. He doesn't need Hollywood support. He doesn't need the media to praise him. He knows his worth. And so don't we. And so doesn't every single person that is doing a proper takedown of the criminal cabal in total secret. Thank you.
Julian Assange to finally leave London. Jerome Corsi reports on a series of unexpected developments which may allow Assange to leave the Ecuadorian embassy in London without fear of arrest. On Tuesday, WikiLeaks posted a tweet announcing the U.S. government had ended its 8-year-long grand jury proceedings against WikiLeaks. The tweet referenced a State Department press conference held January 2, 2018, in which the State Department spokesperson made a strong statement regarding freedom of speech that was couched in a reference to Iran.
We support freedom of the press here in the United States. We support the right of voices to be heard. And when a nation clamps down on social media or websites or Google or news sites, we ask the question, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? We support the Iranian people, and we support their voices being heard.
The WikiLeaks tweet suggests the State Department's reference to freedom of speech in Iran was a coded communication intended to extend the umbrella of free speech and press rights to WikiLeaks. It is not clear that Assange has violated national security laws, even if it can be shown he published U.S. national security classified documents. Even President Trump's attorney has argued for Julian Assange's First Amendment right to publish. In December 2017, in the case Roy Cockrum versus Donald J. Trump for president, Trump's attorneys argued that Julian Assange had a right under the First Amendment to publish the DNC and John Podesta emails, even if the emails were stolen. The Trump campaign, and by inference Julian Assange at WikiLeaks, could not be held liable under the First Amendment for a disclosure of stolen information if the information published involves a matter of public interest and the speaker was not involved in the theft. In May 2017, the government in Sweden dropped the rape case against Julian Assange, for which he has maintained his innocence.
Today is an important victory for me and for the UN human rights system. But it by no means erases 7 years of detention without charge.
This ends the 4-year-long attempt by the Swedish government to arrest Assange via a European arrest warrant. In December 2017, cited a UK tribunal that declared WikiLeaks to be a media organization and a free speech advocate. These are designations that could carry a legal importance in placing Assange under free speech protections, both in the UK and in the United States. Will President Trump pardon Assange? Now, followers of QAnon understand that QAnon has forecast several important developments in code. And on Christmas Day, QAnon posted another cryptic message on the internet bulletin board 8chan. Now, Infowars.com has posted on Scribe.com a decoding of this cryptic QAnon Christmas Day post. You can read that breakdown in its entirety at this article up at Infowars.com. It's titled, "Trump Clears Path for Assange to Leave London." It's a really interesting breakdown of this cryptic code from QAnon. Very interesting here. And on New Year's Eve, Julian Assange posted to Twitter a cryptic string of numbers that appear to be a dead man's switch, linking possibly to a new cache of WikiLeaks documents Assange's associates would post should Assange be arrested.
Clinton under federal investigation over possible pay-to-play politics during her time as Secretary of State. This as Republican senators refer the author of the so-called Trump dossier for criminal investigation. And tonight we're learning there was more than one White House official asking Attorney General Jeff Sessions to stay on the Russia case and not to recuse himself as he did. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Harrods is following all of these developments, joins us with the latest. Good evening, Catherine.
Well, thank you, Brett. In a series of phone calls, more than one White House official lobbied the Attorney General, discouraging his recusal from the Russia case. Sources familiar with the discussion said White House counsel Don McGahn, former Press Secretary Sean Spicer, and former Chief of Staff Reince Priebus all spoke with Sessions as pressure mounted on the Attorney General after his meeting with the Russian ambassador came to light. Contacted by Fox, Spicer denied it, and we are in the process of reaching out to Priebus for comment. A separate source said the president was deeply frustrated with Sessions because while under consideration for Attorney General, Sessions gave no indication he would recuse himself. Lawmakers have pressed the Attorney General on the issues.
Has the president ever expressed his frustration to you regarding your decision to recuse yourself?
Senator Heinrich, I'm not able to share with this committee private communications.
Because you're invoking executive privilege.
I'm not able to invoke executive privilege. That's the president's prerogative.
In a separate development today, senior Senate Republicans Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham referred the former British spy Christopher Steele, who compiled the Trump dossier, to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution. The senators accused Steele of lying about the dossier's distribution, which included American reporters. A senior Senate Democrat said the referral is deeply partisan, Brett.
Catherine, you first reported last January the Clinton Foundation was under investigation, and now we are hearing from U.S. officials that those pay-to-play allegations are getting a second look.
Well, that's right. A source tells Fox News the Justice Department is investigating allegations the Clinton Foundation used pay-to-play tactics when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. We're told this investigation is led by the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI in Little Rock, Arkansas, and they are considering whether the foundation violated tax law. We also understand multiple witnesses have been interviewed. The White House press secretary told Fox today the investigation is justified.
There's certainly been a lot of information out there that I think gives all of us cause for concern, and I think it's important that they're finally taking a look at it.
A Clinton spokesman responded time after time the Clinton Foundation has been subjected to politically motivated allegations, and time after time these allegations have been proven false. None of this has made us waver in our mission to help people. Brett.
And just to be clear, this is separate from what we understand to be another look at the email investigation.
That's correct.
Okay, Catherine, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. If the market hits a record, let's say down 25,000, and the media isn't reporting it, did it really happen? The president has his concerns, tweeting that the fake news barely mentions the fact that the stock market just hit another record and that business in the U.S. is booming. But the people know. Can you imagine if, I think he's referring to President Barack Obama, was president and had these numbers, it would be the biggest story on earth, down now over 25,000. Does he have a point? Let's ask Generation X. Fox News contributor Kat Kemp. We've got Democratic strategist Michael Starr Hopkins, internet radio host Mike Gunzelman, who apparently didn't know we had a dress code here, and the Wall Street Journal.
Way more cozy than we are.
Delicious. And the Wall Street Journal's Jillian Meltzer. All right, Guns, the president, is he right that he's not getting fair treatment?
Yeah, I think he's absolutely right. I mean, if anything, the last year he's got a full year of examples showing that it's him against the media. It's also him against the world. And if anything, this is just another example of this media is obsessed with bringing Trump down. Whatever they can find.
Well, this book, once the first excerpts get out, right?
They're also obsessed with, like, naughty stories. And there's a lot of naughty stories in this book.
Yeah.
So I think that, yes, he is absolutely right. And if this were President Obama, it would be wall-to-wall coverage. However, there was a lot less banana stuff going on when Obama was president, regardless of whose fault that is.
But
at the same time, I wouldn't be rushing to take credit for the stock market because it's inherently volatile. And if you're going to end up
there is a danger in that, but
if you want to get the praise for it, you're going to end up getting the guilt for it and the blame for it.
Well, maybe he will. If it goes south, you raise a good point.
But the thing is, even before this book came out,
but he is fair. He doesn't, and maybe he steps on his own. Talk about banana, he steps on his own story here. But is there something to the fact he doesn't get fair treatment?
I don't really think so. I mean, all the networks have been talking about how the Dow's doing, how the stock market's doing, but
you know, I watched them all yesterday because that's just what I do.
Yeah, see, there you
and I'm not saying they totally ignored Dow 25,000, but it was an afterthought.
It wasn't the leading story, but I think a lot of that has to go towards the president, his tweeting habit, the stories, the palace intrigue. That's not something that happened under the Obama
He
administration.
could walk on water, and you'd report the next day he got his feet wet.
I'd say he couldn't swim.
Meanwhile, is Apple now hackable? There was a day, and I'm old enough to remember this, where you bought an Apple product because it wasn't Windows, it wasn't IBM, and it was immune to these sort of things. In fact, resistant to them. So that was their appeal. Now it seems to be happening every other day. I'm wondering if it's lost its cachet.
Over Apple.
Really?
Yeah, I'm over it because the fact is it's been happening now for years now. Every time you upgrade your phone, it actually gets slower. There's now that lawsuit saying that the batteries were
deliberately do it.
Yeah, they're purposely doing it. And also the first quarter shipments, 50 million down to 30 million this year. People, I think there's a backlash against
By the way,
them.
that's a problem a lot of companies would love to have.
Right? Yeah, 50 million to 30 million.
Lots of other good options. And I think they could maybe take a play from Google here if they're getting hacked. Be honest, be transparent about it. But then again, this is just another reminder, don't put anything in email you don't want people to see.
Well, it's a little late for that, Jillian.
Apple used to have the best product, though. And now Samsung, Google, they've caught up, and the customer service is
But no one's immune to this, though. No one's immune to this. I think that's the upshot.
I mean, I still have an Apple phone, but I'm not spending $1,000 for the new one.
The security risk, though, I mean, you have your Alexa, you have your smartphones, you have the facial recognition now. I don't trust any of it.
It's terrifying. I mean, no matter who you are,
someone so young.
No matter who you are, there's something embarrassing on your phone because we as humans are all embarrassing.
Absolutely.
So it should be scary. I want to say it's not scary. I want to say it's fine, whatever, so that way they won't hack me.
But I find it interesting that you obviously have a lot of embarrassing things on your phone.
I have nothing on my phone. Zero photos, zero emails, zero texts. Very disappointing.
Meanwhile, a lot of people apparently are making New Year's resolutions, but how many people are actually keeping them? You might be surprised to hear this. Young people cheat first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I made a resolution to stop starting conversations with, isn't it crazy how we're all going to die? So that hasn't worked out very well.
That's good.
But if you need to make a resolution...
Probably was a real conversation starter.
Yeah, it also was a conversation ender. But I made a resolution before New Year's Eve that I quit vaping, actually, like the nicotine vape. I quit it.
Wow.
And because you have to have a reason other than the date to actually quit. Like, my lungs were hurting, kinda.
Really?
So that, for me, was like a really good reason to kind of stick to it for the most part.
That's a good goal, a good resolution. I won't vape. Sure.
But the worst are the people that go, they say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. I kept telling them, you're not going to go to the gym. Why? Because it was January 4th yesterday, and you have a cyclone bomb coming. Nobody was going to the gym.
That did interrupt
Everyone's resolution's broken already. You're not going to the gym.
You got to do what I do. Make the best what you have. This is like what I do. I just work out as I'm doing my job.
There you go.
Yeah. You're jealous here, aren't you?
I'm so jealous. I said I was going to use Twitter less, and that's, no.
You need to define. You need to define the goal.
Mine's going super well. So this year I tried doing a soft launch of it because it's all about getting your habits in line.
You're exactly right. Don't overdo. Don't make big
soft launch.
I did a soft launch 2 months in advance, so that my goal would be like ready to go come New Year. It's really neurotic. It's really type A, but it's
incredibly pragmatic.
The problem is you want to do big things, right?
Yeah.
And you want to lose 50 pounds.
I'm working on Spanish fluency.
But the other part is, I hate the people like, oh, I'm going to be nicer this year. No, you're not. You're lying. You're going to be the worst ever.
Who makes a position? I'm going to be nicer.
I'm going to try to be nicer. I'm going to go out of my way more for people.
12% of Americans, actually. I happen to read the exact
to be nicer.
To be nicer. And that's
ridiculous.
That's a lie.
This is your prepared moment.
This is my I just read all the stats.
I love what the other 88% you're like, I'm fine.
We are who we are.
Yeah.
Are you guys confident for the new year?
Yeah.
No, I mean, no.
No.
I'm pretty optimistic.
No, I mean,
why are you not confident for the new year?
look at
the world is your oyster.
Country's going in,
getting
I think, a bad direction. The tone's bad.
Yeah, the $1,500.
I think millennials are going to have to save the country.
I don't like,
oh, that's right, because I'm spending all the money in my
I don't like the first half of any year because it is so cold.
Amen to that.
Really?
The first half of the
You have
year.
a lot of issues.
Yeah, I do. But I'm not. At least I'm not vaping anymore.
No, you're not vaping.
Yeah.
Maybe you should get back to vaping.
Maybe that was saving
could
me
calm
the
you
whole
down
time.
a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. All right, and you're still with Willpower working with IMUS and everything else?
My man.